Hello and welcome to Art Masters with me, Mrs. Portilla. Today we will be doing a project inspired by Charles Sheeler. And he was inspired by the Industrial Revolution in America, when America started creating industries for building cars and other industrial manufacturers. So he really liked to do photographs and drawings and paintings of these geometric new industrial buildings being built in America. So today we're going to be doing an industrial landscape, just like Sheeler. We're going to be using geometric shapes and forms and a little bit of color, and then we'll be working with some value, some lights and darks and shadows. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do when we're doing our geometric industrial landscape is we're going to get our pencil and we will be handing out some geometric templates. So we have all these different shapes we're going to use. And when we're starting our layout and our design, we're going to start with the foreground. So the foreground is going to be what's in the front of our image, which is closer to us. Our middle ground will be our smokestacks and other elements that are behind the buildings. And then our background will be a hint of our sky. So when doing our foreground, we're just going to start with shapes, but always think about balance and the way our design works, right? So I have this template. We're all going to have different templates. Watch first, and then you'll go ahead and do it. So I'm going to use my template. I don't have to use the whole template. I could just put it wherever I want, hold it down, and trace. I could use this same template and turn it a different way. Actually, I like this. And very important, stop at the shape you already drew. We're not going to draw through this. We want this building to look like it's behind that one. So don't draw through the shapes that you already have. Okay, so go ahead and grab your templates. You might just have some to share with the table, flipping them around, overlapping, but don't crisscross all your lines. And if you do, just erase, but try to be careful. And just be thinking about your design and your balance of your image. You definitely don't want to go too high because we want to leave room for our smokestacks. Okay, great job. Hopefully you have just a simple little layout using your geometric shapes. So now I'm going to add some details, and I'm going to stick with using my template, and I might add a roof line, like just adding a second edge that follows the first one. And I'm using my template because I want to use these geometric shapes. Okay, maybe there's the top of the house here, or the building. So you see how I'm using my template? We could draw some windows. And again, I might just use the side of my template. So go ahead and just double up some of your roof lines. Maybe you're gonna add some windows, just some very simple geometric details to make this look a little bit more like a building. Okay, great job. You guys should just have some simple shapes with a little bit of detail. Now let's add our smokestacks in the background. So we're going to use our smokestack template, and we're going to think about our design, and we want these to appear like they're behind our foreground buildings. So in order to do that, I'm just going to start, I'm not going to draw through my building. I'm going to start right at the edge of my roof, and then I'm going to start on my other edge of the roof. You see how I didn't draw through my roof? And then I'll go over the top. So one fun thing to do with our smokestacks is we could overlap them so they look like they're behind each other. So I'm going to put this a little bit lower, and you see how it's overlapping my smokestack? But I'm not going to cut into my shape. I'm going to start at my roof, go up, and I'm going to stop right there. So I have overlapping smokestacks. Now I want to balance out my composition, so I feel like I need some more smokestacks over here. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to add a couple, but I still want to leave my negative space for the sky because we want some room for just a hint of a sky. So go ahead and draw a couple of smokestacks, and you can overlap them if you would like. So using your template. Okay, great. So now you could add some details to your smokestacks if you would like. You can use your template again and just add maybe a little line there so it looks like it's like the top part that's painted. You could do that freehand as well. Just adding a little bit of detail on your smokestacks if you would like. And then once you're done with that, we're going to color. We're going to use our plastic crayons. So when you're using your plastic crayon, when you push hard, you're going to get this dark shade. You push light, you're going to get a very light tint of this color. And then when we're thinking about value, you might hear me say value. Value is going to be this dark area of an element to light. So you have your dark value to light. So all this can happen from pushing hard and adding more color. So to start, we're going to use whatever colors we want, but let's push lightly. Can everyone say push lightly? Thank you. Let's push lightly because then we're going to come back in and add more details by pushing harder and using darker colors. And then you see how I pushed lightly, but then some of these elements, like this little extra line I did, I might just push a little bit harder, just kind of showcasing that little area. And the window, I'll probably put a different color. Yellow is a nice contrasting color. So go ahead and color everything lightly. And thinking about the little details you drew, you could push a little bit harder on some of those details and changing color. So everyone should have their layout pretty much colored. And now we're going to do a little bit of something fun in the sky if you would like. We're going to add some of these kind of geometric shapes and lines, just like some of Sheeler's images that you have in class. So we could do this with our pastel, which is what I'm going to show you. If you don't like that line look, you could do some free-form cloud shapes just by using little swirls of your pastel. But I want everyone to watch first so they could see what I'm doing. And make sure we're not filling in the whole background. We're just going to do a part of the background. Or someone will pass out these straight line templates. I'm going to use our colored chalk pastels now. And I'm going to pick a light color to start with, like this light yellow. And using small circular shapes, kind of going right against the edge here. You could go straight like this, but I'm using the side of my pastel doing the edge. Keeping my template there, I'm going to use my tissue and then I'm gonna swirl. So now I have a straight edge and a soft edge. Now I might overlap by crisscrossing. Again, you don't wanna go over your image, you just wanna start there and then move. So now I'm gonna use another lighter color. So if you would like to do that, you're going to go ahead and get your chalk pastels, your templated paper, and you're going to do a line and then rub. If you want to do the more circular clouds, you'll start at the top of your smokestack using the side of your pastel and just do a little bit of swirls and smear. But we do want to keep our sky, we want to keep some negative space in our sky. We're not just filling in all the sky. We're just adding a little bit of elements. So if you'd like, get your chalk pastels and we'll add a little bit of elements on to our image. Some people did overlap their actual image. You can do that with your chalk pastel, or you could just stop at your buildings. Okay, awesome job with your sky. I did go over one over my image just to show you what that would look like. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about lights and darks and value. So the smokestack is a cylinder, right? Circle, and then it's straight down, a cylinder, just like my toilet paper roll here. And when I add a light source to my toilet paper roll, you can see this side is very light and this side is dark. Do you see that? And when you move your light, the light moves and the dark. That's what makes it look three-dimensional. So this part is optional, but this is what's going to make your image look three-dimensional. So you could use your sketch pencil, which is nice and soft, or if you're very careful, you can use your black crayon, but we don't want to add a lot of black. When we add too much black, it takes all the color away. So I'm going to decide that my light is from here. So that means my shadows are all going to be on this side of the building. So just watch quickly how I add some shadow. I might just lightly kind of scribble up and down, vertical, to add some dark. If I was going to use my crayon, I'd be doing the same thing. Just a little bit of up and down lines. You see how I'm just on this side? Because there's my light. So go ahead and pick which side your sun is on and just add little hints, guys. We don't want a ton of black. This guy has a little bit of black on the side. This one just has little bits of hints. Okay, we don't want to cover it in black. Great, so hopefully you guys were able to just use a little bit of the black or your sketching pencil, just shading the one side. This is the last thing I'm going to do, and this is totally optional. We talked about the value and the shade and the tint of the color. Basically, by pushing hard, you're going to get a darker value and a dark shade of a color when you push hard. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into some of my shapes. If you want to add a little bit more detail, like let's say you want to add some more lines to your window, you could do that. We're keeping it very simple, guys. His Sheeler's paintings were very geometric and simple. But if you want to go in and fix some of your details or add a little bit more, that's fine. And then I'm going to go in and push a little bit harder with some of my colors just to make things pop a little bit more by pushing a little bit harder. So if you want to push a little bit harder, go over some of your areas just to pop your color a little bit more, feel free. This is when we're doing our final details. All right, guys, great job doing Sheeler's industrial landscape. I hope that you are happy with all of your shading and your values and your color. The final thing you're going to do is you're going to write your name on the back. We can glue our paper onto our construction paper. Sometimes your teacher wants to do that, so if she wants you to glue it on, go ahead, and then you're going to put your name on the back, and you're going to add your Sheeler tag on the back. Great job today, guys, with your industrial landscape. Hopefully everyone got a nice layout with a little bit of a sky, or maybe you did the swirly smokestacks. If you guys have time to evaluate each other's work, it's pretty cool that we all use templates in the same shapes, but everything is different. So we could talk about our layout. Is it balanced? Do we still have some negative space? How did you do with your value and your shadows? Where's your light source? So we hope you guys have time to evaluate each other's work and then you enjoyed your industrial landscape using geometric shapes, just like Charles Sheeler. And see you next time on Art Masters.